My 48 female older daughter, 24, gave birth to her fourth child 6 months ago. They were using birth control, but it failed. She used to work as a dishwasher, but due to health issues stemming from her second child, chronic back pain, and then her third child, the after effects of a broken tailbone and more chronic pain that made standing and moving around hard, she can no longer work. She tried her best to get an office temp job, but after about a week, the woman supervising her said this isn't working out. She was a very uptight woman who claimed that just because it always took her 3 days max to train everybody else in the data entry work, she couldn't just be a good person and accommodate slower learners. That woman likely caused her to get a bad reputation at the temp agency, and she didn't get hired elsewhere. My daughter's boyfriend, 28, works at Walmart. He had many more hours when she was pregnant, but since then his hours have ebbed and flowed. He said he would take a day in the future to look for jobs, but it's the holidays and he's busy with family. I feel a lot of empathy for my daughter and her boyfriend and wish I could help them out more, but I'm a single mom working for a nursing home where I struggle to get full-time hours, and my ex ran up a lot of debt in both our names and is now living in another country. My younger daughter, nearly an adult, has a college fund. The amount in it would be enough to pay a large amount of a 2-year community college tuition, given the scholarships and grants she would likely get. She's applied to 4-year universities with the understanding that she'd be taking out loans and working, so she's deciding between 4 years and community college. The other shoe dropped after my older daughter's landlord found out that they were having her boyfriend's brother and girlfriend living in their 1-bedroom in exchange for them helping with the rent, and they got evicted. My daughter agrees it was wrong to lie to the landlord, and both parents are depressed because her boyfriend got a job offer 1 state away and they would have to move from their support network. They came to me asking for help so they could have more time to find financial stability here. I was torn, but seeing my grandkids, I knew my duty was to care for the most vulnerable in the family. So I will be making calls to liquidate my daughter's college fund, saying yes to understanding the penalties, and telling my daughter this. She got very cold and said, "You always brag about having a good memory. I hope you remember this moment then." She hasn't spoken to me since and spent Thanksgiving inquiring with family and friends to see if hospitals are keen to hire college students for the kitchen or reception or anything. She made some cryptic posts about how she hopes she'll be grateful one day that she won't have the privilege of studying anything outside of something technical because she needs something where she'll always be able to find a job. Am I the idiot for sacrificing my daughter's college fund because her sister just gave birth to her 4th child? This is your youngest telling you that if you, or your fecund firstborn, need any help in the future, expect to look elsewhere. People who have 4 children don't have the luxury of dipping out of employment when they feel like it, especially during the holiday season. You are penalizing the highly functioning minor daughter for other adults' selfish and foolish choices. You are the idiot. Personally, when I heard tailbone broken and can't hold a job longer than 2 days, I assumed sugar issues nowadays. It's probably unfair, but I've seen it way too many times. A temp agency isn't going to blackball someone without an excellent reason, especially now. I hire temps. They're made of solid gold right now. One thing that will blackball you is drugs or alcohol or extreme insubordination, either of which is a luxury this woman cannot afford. And OP says that they were using birth control. Clearly not well enough since the daughter is 24 with 4 kids she can't afford, and the boyfriend will start looking for another job later, at some point, because he's busy with family for the holidays, yet his hours are reduced. What a bogus excuse not to look for a better job or more hours anywhere else. Seasonal jobs are so easy to find, and now is the time they need help. They are willfully unemployed or underemployed. Seriously, wow. Lady, you've got this completely backward. You're rewarding the daughter making poor life choices at the expense of the daughter who's trying. Caring for the vulnerable is fine, but you can't care only for the vulnerable. By doing so, you are unwittingly incentivizing your children to keep failing. And there is vulnerable by circumstance and vulnerable by life choices. All the elder daughter's problems are self-inflicted. I guarantee that baby number 5 will be on the way soon. My fiancée Jen, 29 female, just gave birth to our daughter a few months ago. She strictly breastfeeds, so as you can imagine, she gets far less sleep than I do. During the day, I help with changing or holding her, but all feedings are up to Jen. The baby outright refuses a bottle. We've tried several times, but ultimately we're both okay with this. Anyway, I'm kind of an independent startup video game developer. I made one video game 2 years ago, but it wasn't that great. so while I do get revenue from it, it's not much or even a livable wage. This time around, however, I'm working with 4 other people, and the game is turning out great. I also work a 9 to 5, but after getting home, having dinner with my fiancé, and looking after the baby for a while, I jumped on and worked on the game. For the past 2 or 3 nights, I've been up till 1 or 2 a.m. working on the game, and I've been ultra tired. I snore like a maniac when I'm tired. It's super embarrassing because I truly sound like a Mack truck. But yesterday, the baby had her 2-month shots and she was so fussy, cried way more than normal. It was super hard for my fiancé to get her to sleep. I finally went to bed around 2 a.m. and my fiancé immediately asked me to sleep on the couch so I wouldn't wake the baby with my snoring. I said no. I was so tired and the couch wasn't comfortable at all. I had to work early. I wanted to sleep. She didn't fight it, but she called me a damned idiot and walked out of the room with the baby. I woke up this morning to the baby in the crib in the nursery and my fiancé asleep on the floor with no pillows or blankets. She still won't talk to me. Am I the idiot? Do you know what's less comfortable than the couch? Chronic sleep deprivation from a baby using you as their personal milk machine every 90 or 120 minutes for months at a time, and the overwhelming pressure of being solely responsible for keeping a fussy baby alive with your boobs while you come down from the biggest hormone shift a person can experience in their lives. You are the idiot. Volunteer to do all the diapers for the next few nights and get some Breathe Right strips. You know that your fiancé is sleep deprived and is breastfeeding, so she needs to be healthy and rested, and yet you displaced her and your newborn at 2 a.m. because you didn't want to sleep on the couch? That was incredibly selfish. Your fiancé slept on the floor with no pillow or blanket. Are you always this selfish? Your baby needs sleep. Your fiancé needs sleep. I don't feel bad for you being tired when you choose to game until 2 a.m. You owe her a massive apology. Get your head out of your butt and go and see a damn doctor. You are failing as a partner. How does he not feel ashamed seeing her sleeping on the floor to escape his snoring? This is such an awful thing to do to a woman that just birthed their baby. Even if he hated her, this just seems so cold. OP needs to reevaluate his priorities before his fiancée learns that she can sleep in her own bed in her own room without him. This happened 3 weeks ago on Monday. As usual, I, 29 male, woke up at 6 a.m. to go to work. I was taking a shower and everything was okay, but as I stepped out of the shower, I fell down, I touched the floor and it was greasy, so my husband, 32, came out of our room with a camera recording everything and laughing out loud. I wanted an explanation and he said it was just a prank. He'd spread butter on the floor for me to fall down because his brilliant friends thought it was a great idea to play pranks on their spouses to post them online and go viral. One of the morons even pushed his pregnant wife into a pool. I was speechless, kind of in shock. I felt insecure and vulnerable. I was thinking, come on, you're supposed to have my back, not make fun of me. So I didn't argue, I didn't say anything. I just left for work. He even told me before leaving, you might be angry now, but I promise I'll compensate you tonight. Throughout the day, I started analysing the event. I found it childish, disrespectful, and blatantly stupid. I mean, thank heavens nothing terrible happened. But what if I hadn't grabbed the curtain and my head or neck had hit the bathtub? I could be dead. I'm not joking. A severe head injury can be life-threatening. I would never risk his integrity like that because he's my husband. I respect him and I love him. He's usually very wise and smart, but this time he acted like a damn teenager. So that day I didn't feel like seeing my husband. I went to my dad's to cool down, but I haven't gone home in 3 weeks because I'm still angry at him. I asked my dad to go and pack my things. At first my husband didn't want to let him in, but he ended up allowing it. I haven't even answered his calls, and I'm seriously reconsidering our relationship. We've been married for 3 years. He's caring and loving and has never done something as irresponsible and stupid as this. He's been bombarding my phone with apology messages and begging me to come back, but I don't know. To be honest, I don't look at him the same way I did before. So now everyone, but my dad, is telling me that it's time to forgive because he didn't do it to hurt me, and perhaps he didn't see beyond consequences and didn't think it could be life-threatening, that I'm overreacting because it's just a prank. But this isn't some 6-year-old child who doesn't see beyond the prank. This guy is a doctor. He knows what a head injury could mean. So I don't know, guys. Am I really overreacting? Everyone seems to agree that I am, even my mom does. Yeah, I know that he might not have done it hoping I would die, but it's so disrespectful, and there was a chance it could be life-threatening. My friend died from falling in the shower and hitting his head on the floor. Your husband could have killed you. For views. So not only are you not the idiot, but if roles were reversed and a girl I was married to decided to do anything for TikTok clout, I'd reconsider my marriage. And I'm talking lesser offences such as, I don't know, something less dangerous than spreading butter on the bathroom floor. He did this after his friend pushed his pregnant wife in a pool and still thought it was hilarious. I'd be so done, whether it's cake smashing in a bride's face or this messed up crap. Sweetie, do not give him a second chance. He was laughing at your pain. That should be an instant deal breaker. Frankly, what the husband did was assault. I'm inclined to report him to his practice or hospital. People like him should not be in healthcare. Sorry, wait, the husband is a doctor? OMG, I missed that he's a doctor in the first read-through. What in the ever-living heck? I'm an ERRN and I'm horrified, so I'm changing my earlier musings. Run and don't look back. That a physician would do this is a whole new level of scary. Don't listen to anyone who says forgive him. They're saying that because a doctor is a good catch. Yeah, catch and release. There's something seriously wrong with him and his friends. If it were me, I would seriously worry if he wasn't trying to kill me and make it look like a prank gone wrong. My 32-year-old husband Keith, 33, got hit by an intoxicated driver about 10 months ago and he's now paralysed from the hips down. We have 2 daughters, a toddler and a kindergartner. It's been really hard on him and he struggles with depression. Luckily, he works at a desk job so he doesn't have to worry about his employment, but it's really affected him in other ways. He can't play with our girls the way he used to. They still love him to bits, but he feels guilty. He also can't enjoy many of his old hobbies. We got him a good therapist and he's improving every day with my and all our friends' support. He's had bad issues with his family in the past, so we don't communicate with them. He's gotten along with my family very well up until now. I have an older brother, Adam, 35, who is also paralysed in a wheelchair. He was driving while intoxicated when he was 21 and crashed. He dropped out of college and now lives a very isolated life with our parents. He spends most of his time playing video games. He does a bit of online work every now and again, but is primarily unemployed. Sometimes I wish our parents would encourage him to go out more and make some new friends, but I know I'll never fully understand what he's going through, so I don't comment. I didn't want to make him feel worse. In the past few months, my husband and I have visited my parents a few times weekly for dinner. He's feeling better now and they only live a couple of blocks down the road. Plus, they love seeing the girls. My brother joins us only occasionally. Over the past few dinners he's been present at, he keeps making weird and rude comments. It started about a month and a half ago when Keith commented on how he was thinking of returning to our local gym to work out his arms. Adam said something about how maybe I should just buy some at-home weights for him because people would mock him in the public gym. It got awkward and my mom quickly changed the subject. At the next dinner, Keith talked about how his friends organised a little fishing trip with him at a nearby lake in a few months. Adam chuckled and said he hoped he had fun at his pity party. I was going to tell him how rude that was, but my dad shushed me and quickly asked our daughter something. Adam's comments have been increasing over the past few weeks and have become unbearable. We've even been going to their house less and less. I've snapped at him a few times, only to get a pathetic halfway apology. My parents keep saying Keith's accident has brought up a lot of old feelings for Adam, and he doesn't truly mean what he says. They kept saying they'd pull him aside one night and tell him to stop. It all came to a head a couple of days ago. We hadn't been going over quite as often, but my older daughter had a ballet recital and we went to my parents' house afterward for dinner. Keith was telling her how proud he was, but Adam cut in. He said that it was a shame the handicapped seats in the auditorium were in the very front because she must have been embarrassed. Keith sternly asked him what he meant and he went on to talk about how he was happy he got paralysed young because he didn't have to worry about embarrassing his kids by being a useless vegetable of a parent. I got furious and started to scream at Adam about what an idiot he was. Keith has been doing his best to be the most incredible father he can be, do well at his job, stay social and happy with his friends, and he's damn succeeding, which is more than I can say for Adam. Keith's accident was not caused by his own mistake, but he's found the strength to continue with life. I know Adam has been through a lot, but his stupidity made him what he is now. He can say whatever he wants, but everyone knows that he's the useless vegetable here, not Keith. It got dead silent. Our youngest daughter began to cry. I grabbed the girls and everything as quickly as I could and went home. I turned my phone off because I started to get bombarded with texts. The few that I've read are my parents tearing me up for saying such cruel things. They agreed Adam was out of line, but I had no right to say all those things. Apparently he won't eat or come out of his room now. They banged on my front door a couple of times, but I haven't answered. Keith hasn't wanted to talk about it all that much, and I've heard him cry a couple of times. My daughters are confused. I don't even know what to feel. I wish I'd just told my brother to shut up and leave instead of saying all those things. I love Adam, but I still get mad thinking of the awful things he said about my husband. A few of my closest friends have said that even though Adam was awful, he's had a tough life since his accident. I should have just bit my tongue and had my parents deal with him. They suggested I apologize, but then tell him how inappropriate and cruel he was. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Just because you're disabled doesn't mean you have a get-out-of-jail card for being an idiot. Your brother is a proper, jealous, miserable idiot and had it coming. Your parents also had plenty of chances to set him straight but didn't because they couldn't help but coddle him. I hope your husband feels better soon. It's good to hear that you stood up for your husband. Keep doing that. And Adam needed a wake-up call. Mommy will spoon-feed him and tell him it's all his mean sister's fault. Adam isn't having a hard time because it brings up old feelings. Adam is having a hard time because your husband being happy and productive forces him to face the fact that his problems result from his attitude and not his circumstances. That's the more significant issue that needs to be addressed by the family unit and a therapist. No one is doing him any favors by accepting or enabling his bad behavior. I'm sorry your husband and kids got stuck in the middle of this. On a side note, I'm a dedicated gym goer 5 days a week, and your husband will not have anyone making fun of him at the gym. He will get lots of high fives and tons of people telling him he's an inspiration to them.